But you deal with individuals at studios who just don't get it, you know? And they're like, well, it's a horror movie. I'm like, yeah, well, it's funny. Yeah, you can't have the two of them together. Fucking idiot, you know? It's like, have you looked at your own library? You make Creepshow, you know? So it's amazing when you deal with large corporations and you have a lot of people who want to get their hands in the pie. But then I had a large amount of support at people at the studio who did get it, and they understood that this is a type of horror film which has not been around in like 20-some years. The kind of horror film that combines humor and horror and embraces unconventional storytelling.
You got a question?
What happens to the dog?
Well, I love dogs. I have 3, but yeah, he's not around. Well, he's around, but he's all over the walls and the ceiling. And, no, I know. I got so much crap for that. But what's funny is, and I wish we had put this on the DVD, we did shoot it both ways. We shot a version where he lived, because at one point, the animal trainer, she warned me, she's like, listen, every time I worked on a movie where they kill the dog, they have to do a reshoot, make the dog alive at the end. And I said, okay, well, let's do that now, so we don't have to go back and do a reshoot. So we did one take where Brian Cox walks back into the house at the very, very end, and he's all bandaged up, and he shuts the door, and he says, what are you looking at? And you see the dog, and it just like cocks its head. But I thought that was cheesy. So it's like, if you're going to kill dogs, you got to kill kids, and you got to kill mentally challenged kids, you got to commit to it. Yeah.
Okay, we got time for 5 more. So I see 1 here, 1 there, 2, 4.
Now you must fight.
Now, get there in the ring. No, we got to ring downstairs for that. All right.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you toy with the idea of like having the mask come off or have it stay on?
Well, I think that if we had it did briefly, but I think that I had lived with the character for so long, from the animated short you just saw up until the time. I mean, that was 10 years, '96 to 2006. For 10 years, I've been living with this character and never really revealed what was under the mask personally. And so I really wanted to get the mask off. And I think that if the mask hadn't come off, you would have felt cheated. And then it would have been like, oh, well, maybe it was the next door neighbor's kid, or, you know, so, and I really wanted to show that it just wasn't some psychotic little kid, but it was just this, it was a really dark version of the Great Pumpkin. You know, that's what he is in my mind.
Okay, everybody that had a question, stand up. There's 1 here, 1 there, 1 there, and 1 more, because I need to know where to go. I can't remember. Here you go.
How was it working with a bunch of little kids in costumes that were really creepy?
Bastards. It was great. I mean, we have a lot of kids in the movie. Actually, the kid who plays Quinn was a 9-year-old. Because I didn't want to use a little person. Little people and kids move really differently. And I actually think that kids are creepier than little people. Because, you know, like they have like kind of that awkward walk and run. And so he loved playing the role. And you know, even like the Goonies age kids, they loved it because they got to swear. You know, like the one kid who was dressed up as the pirate, Chip, he, I remember I had to ask his parents, I'm like, are you okay with him dropping an F-bomb? I'm like, well, for a movie, it's fine. So all he did was walk around the set like, yeah, so everyone had a good time. It was like, for us, it was Halloween for 4 months.
What was the budget for the film?
$12 million. Yeah, which is nothing for, you know, most movies.
Now, there were many visual and mentally horrifying things about the movie. Were there any ideas that they did not allow you to run with?
No, actually there weren't. They did ask me to rethink and like, well, can you cast, you know, some young 20-somethings to play 12-year-olds? No. Because it's like the amount, they are so uncomfortable with like the kids dying. And then there was a note that I got about you know, like the girls, if you listen to the girls in the dressing room, they give away the fact that they're werewolves. Like the whole conversation is them, it's not about them picking up guys to have sex, it's about them picking up guys to eat them. The whole conversation. So we just give it right away, but the one girl comments like, oh, she got, you know, she picked up a girl last year. And they're like, oh, by bisexuality, can you take that out? Come on, it's rated R, you know? So you just have to choose your battles carefully.
All right.
I just want to say, it's not so much a question as a statement, like, I'm glad you brought this movie out, I've been waiting for it. I've
Thanks.
been looking for it, gunning for it, telling my boy, telling everybody, this movie looks sick. I'm glad you really did something special, because a lot of these horror movies nowadays are not doing it.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And I'm really, really, really grateful that you guys came, because usually when a studio tries to dump a movie, they do a pretty good job at it. But it's people like you who have kept it alive and kept it viable, and you know, I think we can thank this time of year also. But all I'm asking for you is just to find original horror films, support them, and tell your friends, convince your friends to see original stuff. Go see Zombieland this weekend. And if you honestly think, if you really just think a movie looks like shit, don't go see it. Just don't. There's no obligation to. Don't see it out of curiosity. Maybe you get it from Netflix. You know, but you know, spend your money wisely.